Thanks, everyone. It is time for another Brony Debates Live. I hope you're all doing well out there on this Saturday evening and having a wonderful weekend. We're gonna be talking about more Reddit threads today. Oh God, the horror. Like the abject terror of all of it. And joining me tonight is the absolutely stunningly gorgeous Princess Heather Blossom. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing all right, figuring things out, going as I go.
Indeed, indeed. So what are we talking about tonight? You sent me a few, or you sent me a last week we were talking about this Reddit thread you sent me saying who has done the most evil thing, and we didn't have
Yeah,
time to get to that.
yeah, I was going on. That's a whole debate topic in and of itself. Is like the whole who's committed the most evil atrocity. We could say that it was Sombra, like enslaving the crystal ponies. We could say it was Tyrek stealing a pie. We could even say it was the royal Princess Celestia and the royal sisters who literally imprisoned people in stone. That's pretty messed up. But I have my own opinion on what I think the most evil act committed was and who did it.
Indeed. Alrighty then. So before we get into that, let's thank the patrons, and everybody who supports the channel financially, especially those on the $10 and up tier, such as yourself, Heather. There's also Shady, Autoknight, Emerald, Senko, DJ, Rain, Billy, Alden, Kanto, Mr. Sonic, Alicia, Calbeck, StarChaser, VentureCorp, Willyzin, Icanus, Vulpecula, Raptor's Talon, Jimmy, J Yoshi, and Dark Malcontent. Be sure to check out all their links in the link trees below, as well as what you get in return for supporting the channel, should you choose to do so. Now then, with that, let me switch over the visibility here so we can see the thread that we're talking about. And this is titled, Who Has Done the Most Evil Thing? King Sombra booping a child without her consent, Lord Tyrek stealing a pie, or Misty Bright Dawn disorganizing someone's collection. Interesting. So, real quick, we got hello Uwe Mizadal, Gojillion, Paladin in the chat, Hex Walker. Hello, how are you doing? And yeah, let's get into it. So, I know you have your opinion, Heather, but let's read a couple of comments here. The booping of a baby is by far the worst offense of the three, easily. What do you think
I don't
about
know if I
that?
agree with that.
Yeah, because I would say
Booping of a
stealing a pie
baby.
is stealing a pie is way
That's
worse.
actually a crime.
Yeah, but some babies like getting booped, getting their
What this
noses
baby
pressed. It's
did in
like,
that kid.
well, yeah, but I think that's because she knows that King Sombra is evil. Could you imagine a Flurry Heart raised by King Sombra?
Too much power.
Way too much power. That'd be like a Sith situation where, he trains her all up, and knowing darn well she's gonna betray and kill him at some point in time, but ultimately continue his goals. I don't know. Right to jail right away. All right. I'm frankly more concerned about why he even has her in his hands, like a fully grown man, and I'd be utterly terrified in his grasp. Oh yeah, like what's it? Do you not know the context? Did you not watch the episode? He freaking kidnapped her.
Yeah, the kidnapping is mid. That's about what we expect.
It was a coup, my man. It was a hostile takeover. Tyrek is the only one of the three who actually did anything objectively illegal. That's what I said. The Misty GIF is making me irrationally angry. What Misty GIF?
Oh, also.
Oh wait.
Brawny,
Oh, there's more.
By the way, can I see what you're looking at?
Oh, I forgot to do it again. That's like the second day in a row I forgot to do that.
I've seen the thread, so I kind of know, but I don't know exactly to follow with you.
Yeah, let me share my screen here. There we go. Okay, sorry about that. Now then, yeah, okay, so yeah, dude just comes in. Like, how are you 10 feet tall and hiding in bushes? Gosh darn it. Just, yoinks that pie. And then... Oh, no.
He just...
I mean, she looked like she was, you know, pretty malicious in that gif.
Utterly.
Mm-hmm. But, no, I think of these three options here, the pie is definitely the worst. That looked like a good pie, too. I bet you didn't even share it. Those are, all that sugar is not going to help you grow your muscles, Tarek.
I will say, out of these three, if we're picking these three, maybe we can agree on the pie, though I feel like the severity of Misty's crime depends on how freaking Hitch is gonna react to that. And Hitch, well, he's a nice guy, but I think he'd be pretty miffed.
He probably would. I don't know enough about Hitch to say one way or the other. I don't think Hitch would make too big of a deal of it. But how is it that the severity of the crime depends on how bad someone else's reaction is to him? That's some Twitter frickin' logic.
It'd be like if someone like trespassing. The severity of that crime is like, oh, I just crossed over your lawn and did something. Someone could just like not care, or someone could actually like report it and make a big stink about it. I guess that depends on like what kind of punishment you'd receive.
Alrighty then. Well, that I feel like that's not exactly right. Because the thing is that like if you just sort of walk on somebody's lawn, then yeah, that can be a crime if the person doesn't want you there and vocalizes that, and then you proceed to do it anyway. So that could, you know, but like if you're just leaving something out in public and then it gets moved, then it's not really your property. But I guess right here, she is moving somebody else's
deliberately
property.
touching your property.
Yeah. I still think the pie is worse.
You know what? Sure. I'll give you the pie.
This took 10 seconds to set up, and then it got slightly misaligned.
Oh, no. So effort counts now?
This was hours and time and money and somebody's livelihood.
How much do you think they were selling that pie for?
Shoot, I don't know. We don't know how money works in Equestria. We got, you know, friggin' people out here charging 20 bits for a single cherry.
That's haggling.
Yeah. All right, what else do we got here? The Misty gif is making me irrationally angry. Like, what's his name's deliberately organized that, and then Misty ruined those pens on purpose. Now he's going to have to move the pen back, but since ponies don't have hands, it's likely...
Yeah, and he's an earth pony, too! It's extra sucky! That's probably a crime in Equestria. Like, hey, don't fuck up things that earth ponies did. It takes them forever to fix it again because they don't have fucking magic or wings to help them do shit.
You sound like Twilight in Lesson 0 when talking about the frosting on the cupcakes.
So we're bringing that back.
One of the oldest joke videos I ever did was I just took that clip. I didn't do anything to it. I just took that clip and uploaded it with the title, Twilight Sparkle Demonstrates the Problem with Socialism.
Is that... Okay, why not?
Yeah,
sure.
Well, you screw with it too much when it was good, and now nobody has enough. That's socialism in a nutshell.
Sure.
Sombra booping Flurry Heart without her consent. She looks uncomfortable, so it's definitely the most evil thing ever.
That could be considered assault.
It could.
Assault on a child, assault on a minor. Disgusting!
Yeah. Staging a coup. He might have a point, this Christy San. He might have a point. That could sway me away from Tarek.
If it was in a courtroom, I feel like he'd get more time.
As a fan of well-organized writing utensils, that last gif made me physically ill.
Yeah, that's a crime right there.
So, that's enough of that nonsense. Heather, what did you say was the most evil thing a pony ever did?
The most evil thing, like discounting these three things, because like I don't think these are the most evil things ever done in the history of My Little Pony. Friendship is Magic, The Next Generation, none of that. The most evil thing that's ever been done was when Pinkie Pie ate the entire marzipan meringue fucking cake in one bite at the end of Mystery Express. How fucking dare you eat that? The only person who might have gotten a slice was Princess Celestia because freaking Twilight was about to hand her a slice. Pinkie Pie gulped down that entire cake. You bitch. That is the most evil thing I can imagine. You know me. I'm someone that enjoys their food immensely. And here she goes, that bimbo ass hoe, gulping down an entire house. Like, that's a 4-tier cake. That's a 4-tier cake. And she just took it all for herself. Do you think after all those mysteries you didn't solve that you deserve that? Pinkie Pie, I can't forgive you for that. I will never.
I think it was equally as evil that everybody on that train took a bite of that cake.
Well, like 3 people.
Like until
Rarity, Rarity, Fluttershy, and Applejack. Spoiler alert! If you didn't fucking know, they're the ones that ate. Oh yeah, and no, not Rainbow Dash. Yeah, those 3 were the ones that took bites out of the cake. At least they got a taste. Those were pretty big bites, but they were still plenty of cake. Pinkie Pie took the whole fucking cake in front of everybody, completely shameless. That's the audacity of that shit. I'm surprised Rainbow Dash wasn't a person who bit into the cake. That's really shocking to me.
Didn't Gustave Legrand take a bite of the cake too?
No, they ate each other's cakes. The contestants didn't touch the cake; they ate each other's foods.
Oh,
I think he might have eaten the mousse, and mousse and the mustache. The donut guy ate some of his eclairs. I forget who. I think the donkey mule chick ate some donuts. Yeah, the donut guy had eclair in his hair. Gustav had mousse in his mustache, and the mule had sprinkles in her wrinkles.
I'm amazed that you remember that because I guess I sort of like
because they rhymed. Because they rhymed. That's it. That's how I remember things. That's how you teach me shit.
Yeah, I repressed a lot of this episode, and it's been years and years. This, in my opinion, was like the worst episode of the show until Magical Mystery Cure.
This was the worst. I mean, I know the plot was kind of predictable, but it had some fun stuff going on, you know?
It did. It was what really like threw me off about it was like at the time, and I've grown out of this just so you know, but like at the time, I couldn't wrap my head around the idea that these professional chefs couldn't retain themselves. Oh, look at it! Look at her! She's freaking strangling that dude.
Yeah. So there's great stuff about this episode.
Yeah, and some of the like fantasy scenes that happened, like this James Bond crap.
I love that. He sliced the cake up.
And then he's just got...
Where did these bitches come from?
He's got his James Bond harem. Jesus. And Twilight being the voice of reason here, like, hey, that the cake doesn't look anything like, and then she insults his hair for no reason. Cake doesn't look anything like your freaking fantasy there, Pinky. How about, where's Muriella the ninja?
Oh yeah, I guess that's what freaking Gustav got like the cartoony old villain treatment. That was funny.
Oh geez, it's all just black. That scene was super easy to animate. The animators are having a good day at that point. They were like, "Oh yeah, we got a whole like 30 seconds here that we don't need to mess with. Thank God." It's like a day's labor right there. So yeah, let's skip over to the end here. Ah, jeez. Oh, that's some body horror right there. Oh
Aw,
God.
you made a ring clear.
Yeah, that was part of the reason it was this episode at the time was tough for me to deal with. And then they pull in. Oh yeah, they put everything together.
Yeah, and it made its own cake, so it was even better cake than it was before. And Celeste was like, "Oh, hot damn! You know, everyone wanted a piece of that freaking cake. And look at this bitch! Look at this bitch!
She ate
Oh,
the ribbon too.
you chonky hoe bag! Ah, that is just criminal, shameless criminal scum."
The gluttony.
What
You know,
this?
this cake would have been very difficult to eat though. Like, how are you going to get a piece of everything? You're either going to get
Also,
cake,
is
you're
it
going to get mousse, you're
okay
going to.
that like all of like canonically every single one of these dishes was half eaten and then you just push? That's not sanitary. Now that you think about it, that was pretty evil.
Well, you
That's
could
not very hygienic.
you could just kind of like cut the bitten pieces off.
It's still what like making like how they make those Frankenstein pizzas at Chuck E. Cheese.
I guess so. I've also like listen. I've known a couple of line cooks. They can be pretty sketchy. I would not put it past a lot of the cooks I've known to drop something on the floor and then just quick throw it back on the grill.
Ugh.
Yeah. So, like as I've said before, you know, if you are anticipating a limit to human evil or stupidity, someone's going to find a way to surpass what you thought was the limit.
Ain't that always the case? Jeez.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'd say that might be the most vile thing in this entire show is that. But what would you say, Brawny? What outside of the instances we spoke of, what is the most evil thing?
That's tough to think about. For a while, a lot of people were saying like in Philly Vanilli when Pinkie Pie was getting all up in Fluttershy's face the whole episode and just making her live her insecurities and deal with it right there and then. Everybody said that was really evil. I was in the camp of like, no, that's
ignorance. That's just
that's ignorance. And in a way, exposure therapy, right? So, but here in the recommended is another episode that I think is evil, but pretty justified. And I'll switch the view back over and everybody can see episode, 6, season 6, episode 15, 28 pranks later. When Pinkie organizes this whole prank right here. Let's see if I can find the point where she's like thinking about it. So she's here, right? It's like, oh, this is a lot, and Dash is like, oh, I'm gonna do this to the whole town, and she's just like, And that is the face. That is the face of pure evil, right? That is the you can see the diabolical gears turning in her head.
Totally.
But it's running on Pinkie Pie hardware, so if it went even, 1 kilobyte harder, she'd blue screen. But, this is the amount of planning that this took. You know me, I'm a Sombra fan. So I have a lot of respect for planning, for strategy. I love, chess. I love Magic the Gathering. but she had the whole town in on it. And that is one of the most diabolical things outside of a straight up villain that happened in the show.
You
And
know
then
what this reminds? You
yeah, go
continue.
ahead.
Sorry, you're still making your point.
No,
You, you.
I was gonna say that like we could take evil from a different angle and go to this other one right here, the perfect pair, with the way that people's family treated each other. But we'll get to that after what you were saying.
Well, I was gonna before we get into that, perfect. So before we get into that, I was gonna say a lot of people compared this episode to the mysterious mare duel, and how that was like a weird convoluted way to teach Dash a lesson about being a showboating pony when you're just supposed to be doing good things because they're good, not because you want attention. I hated that a lot of people, like, I get it. You thought the lesson wasn't like displayed a good way, but people thought that her friends were evil for what they did, for tricking her into believing, hey, it's not some mysterious hero, it's all your friends doing nice things for everybody. And I was just like, really? That's the problem you had? You thought her friends were mean because they tried to teach her a lesson about not showboating? Like, that pissed me off because someone even wrote a whole fanfic about how the rest of the town shamed the remaining 5 for letting doing that to Rainbow Dash, and Rainbow Dash almost fucking moved away. And I'm like, that's so stupid.
Yeah,
I would understand if someone wrote that very same fic for this, because this went a little overkill. I want to say that this went a little overkill. Fucking what Rainbow Dash did in the last, in Mare Duel, I thought it was well deserved. The execution was whatever. I liked Mare Duel as an aesthetic, but I can't stand a whole episode of Rainbow Dash doing cringeworthy shit. Like, I cosplay her and stuff, but she's on the lowest tier of characters I like. She's her being
which
a
is funny
douchebag and
because
them trying to
she
give her a
tends to get
comeuppance.
views. Don't your Rainbow Dash videos get views?
They do get views. People love her. People love her. And she's a very comfortable cosplay to wear. I will say that. That's something I rate, just a side tangent, something, I can't tell you what my favorite cosplay is because I like all my cosplays for different reasons. One of the reasons I like Rainbow Dash is I am able to use audios that are obnoxious and stupid because I feel like it suits her character. But also it's very comfortable. The wig is kind of thin, but that also makes it very light, so it's not very hot on my head, and the cosplay is easy. I just put on some jeans, my Wonderbolt jacket, some rainbow socks, and it's done. It's done. I put makeup, of course, but it's an easy cosplay to do.
Mm-hmm. Well, look at this. Pinkie Pie even had the foresight to be like, okay, then after this happens, I need Rarity, Applejack, and the Crusaders to lead Rainbow Dash back to the barn, and that's where we're gonna get her.
Oh my god. And this was all because she was doing way too many pranks.
It was not just pranks that. She was doing a lot of pranks. They started out, simple enough. We got a freaking whoopee cushion, but they were having this whole meeting because she pranked Fluttershy, which from season 1 we were like, hey, please don't prank Fluttershy. She's not about that life.
Yeah, and Rainbow Dash was the one to point that out. Even the bear's like, what the fuck is wrong with you, man?
Yeah, well, Pinkie Pie was the one to point it out to Rainbow Dash back in season 1.
You're right. So I guess it kind of makes sense then. Maybe she just disregarded that because she does seem to be pranking by herself.
Yeah, so she's got this meeting with HR where they're like, hey, we can do pranks, but please know your audience. Right? And Dash doesn't listen. And then goes the rest of the episode freaking causing physical and property damage. So,
okay, so
yeah. And
so
as we know from Mare
Duel,
Duel, Dash is kind of an idiot and doesn't learn unless you beat it upside her head.
Yeah, so I would say this is Mare Duel done a bit better. I even like that because you know me, I love zombie apocalypse and shit. So this was a Mare Duel probably written by me.
Yeah, so people need a little bit of and then what did she do? Oh yeah, she just dragged her bed out into the mud. How is that a prank? That's not a prank.
Yeah, that's like when people pull people's air mattresses while they're sleeping on them out of their freaking tents while they're camping and pull it into a river and just have them wake up in the middle of a lake. That's a fucking dangerous prank, and I never like seeing it. And it's pretty bad because I'd also expect that would happen to me if I was camping with the wrong people. Because you know me, I sleep so freaking heavily.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can't. Well, we live in Florida, and you can't do that in Florida. You'll get eaten.
Gators. Yeah, so that's something I'm especially that is not a cool prank, dude. That is sucky. Which makes me hope that a lot of times that I've seen it, that it's fake.
Yeah,
The person knew and it's just supposed to look like a prank video, because sometimes people do that.
Yeah, you can't do, and you can't do that up in Seattle either. You can't do that in Oregon because or Oregon or Washington because orcas and stingrays.
Orcas? I mean, I'm thinking in a lake. Do the lakes there get orcas and stingrays?
The lakes, some of the lakes get stingrays, which is something I learned recently.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, I didn't know about it either. They're like a special kind of manta. I don't know, but that's one candidate for the most evil thing, and just kind of diabolical and neat.
Well, diabolical, but I feel like it's the kind of ends justify the means. Yeah, it was kind of a messed up thing to do, but did we not fucking deserve it? It's like those things where it's like Reddit and it's like r/am I the asshole? And I'm like, you were kind of an asshole, but I think it was well deserved. You were the asshole, like it was you were the asshole, but I think I'm behind you on this.
Yeah, this is like a Thanos was right situation. Like, yeah, it's evil,
Thanos
but
was right.
But there was a good reason for it. By the way, Thanos was not right. I don't actually believe that. It's just the closest, metaphor that I had to explain the situation.
That Thanos was don't Brawny, are you really that concerned of people being afraid you freaking agree with Thanos?
There are people out there. Listen, there are people out there that unironically agree with Thanos, and I think they're retarded, and I don't want to be mixed up with them.
Okay, I was about to say, are we really concerned about, the spaceman that looks vaguely like my father, whether or not we agree with him?
Oh, jeez.
Guys, I think I might be Gamora.
Well, you're not adopted.
Or am I? No, I'm not. I look too much like my mom.
Well, obviously.
Too much.
Alrighty then.
Yeah,
so here's the other evil thing. Is just the way that grandpa freaking treats his family, especially when we get to the wedding scene, right? So yeah, Granny Smith's like absolutely the frick not. What the heck is going on here? And then, but Granny Smith is like, okay, I guess Pear Butter is my family now. And grandpa goes and makes her choose. You don't make somebody choose. The frick is wrong with you? That's some Reb Tevier type crap right there.
Hey, Reb Tevier, don't compare him to Reb Tevier. Reb Tevier couldn't accept it at first, but eventually he kind of came around, yeah.
There's a difference between being cordial for the sake of peace and actually coming around and accepting it. I watched that movie with you. Reb Tevier did not come around. He's just like, okay, yeah, we're all in a sucky situation right now. I don't have the energy to be mad at you.
That part's kind of up to interpretation, I feel. So maybe I'm just veering on the optimistic side of it because I like Reb Tevier, and despite a lot of stuff, I think he's a good father because he accepted so much. Rather than let his daughter marry an older man who would have make sure she stayed fed and all that for years, for her whole life, she let her marry the man she loved who didn't have that much security. She let his second daughter basically pick her husband because he loved them. And then the third one came around and it was something that was very, very difficult for him to accept. But it seemed like within his development that he would have. But now we're getting off about a different part of media. I love Fiddler on the Roof, folks. I love Fiddler on the Roof. It's a very great film. And I assume play. I think it was a play first. It definitely was.
I do believe it was a play before it was
absolutely
like a Broadway type
It
deal.
usually is. It usually is.
Yeah, but this is pretty dang evil right here. I can't really
I want to veer that it's like selfish. It is certainly selfish, a bit evil, but I don't think it's as bad as saying like something that was done because he obviously thinks he's right. I think like intention matters a bit here, and he thinks he's doing the right thing, even though like he's like way up his ass if he thinks that. But I think he thought he was doing the right thing. It's like there does come a point where intention doesn't matter because if you slaughter millions for the greater good, you're undoubtedly evil. But like putting someone in a conflicted situation or abandoning someone because you thought it was the right thing to do, I think it's a little different. And he didn't like leave her with nothing. She had a family to go to fall back on when he left.
Yeah, they essentially never saw him again though, and that's just
That's so sad. That is so sad. I've seen a lot of fics where like I loved this one comic I saw where it like they made it that like despite him moving away, Buttercup kept sending him letters to tell him like, hey, I know you don't want to talk to me, but I feel like you should know how life is going. And she would send him letters like every day about the things that were happening, tell him about his grandkids and stuff like that. And he never opened any of the letters. He just opened them all at once one day, and then he got the news that she died. And then he was like, well, I can't show my face around there. It's such a sad, sad story. It really is.
Yeah.
We got this from Generation 4.
What? Oh, let's see here. Yeah, you're not gonna see emotional or storytelling, or characterization depth like this out of any other generation.
Yeah, I've been watching Generation 5, Tell Your Tale mostly because Cutie Mark Magic is very boring, but Tell Your Tale is pretty decent. And I was just like, oh yeah, this is fine. This is well enough. Maybe it's not that bad of a follow-up. Then I go back to an episode like this that covered such a hard topic, like a very tough topic, with the knowledge that we have that those parents, and I think not even a kid could miss the subtext there of that, yes, these two people, they are gone, they are dead. And having this kind of story in Generation 4, I look at Generation 5 and be like, yeah, I'm sorry, this is why it doesn't quite measure up, because I'm enjoying Tell Your Tale, but the perfect pair is just an immaculate argument about what Generation 5 is lacking. There is so much heart and effort.
Yeah. Looking at the chat here, and by the way, guys, don't forget you are able to join the Brony Debates call-in Discord server. The link is in the top of the description. And if you want to, make your own voice heard, we've also got the tip jar. But you can come into the Discord server, raise your hand, tell us what you want to talk about, and if I find you interesting, I'll let you on the show. Just make sure your mic and internet connection are good. But in the chat, we're seeing, what else is evil? Babseed getting absolved from her bullying against the CMC. So that's, I did not like the conclusion of the lesson of this, where, they sort of justify, or I don't know if justify is the right word. Look
Not
at these
justify, but give it an excuse.
Yeah, look at these little girls building a combustion engine.
Hey, it's got freaking Apple Bloom on the team, of course.
Right. And, yeah, so it's, I understand the psychology behind it, but what I really freaking hated is that they would say, right around here, or something like that, they go, oh shoot, this is why she did what she did, and now we're punishing her for it, so now we're the bullies. And it's like, no, that's not how that works. If you act like a terrible person to people, and they catch a consequence, or you act like a terrible person to people and you catch a consequence, that's on you.
Yeah, I always hated that, like, you're no better than them bullshit. I'm like, well, you can think that if you want to. I know that's not true, dumb fuck. But yeah. Freaking, I would say, did you notice though that also, why is Pinkie Pie in the freaking lettuce cart?
I don't know. She was She was she.
She
I
was just
don't. Yeah. Why did they build a pumpkin in the beginning? You know.
That's a good question. Like, I don't
Yeah.
know. It doesn't even seem like it's around fall time. What the fuck, Pinky? Just like that. I'm just gonna go on this couch that I conveniently put in here. I'll read. You
Dude,
guys drive. I don't give a.
these kids
It's
can't
that.
even
It's
drive.
that.
They're running people over.
Like freaking. This is like that scene from the Cat in the Hat movie. Let the 12-year-old drive.
Yeah. Yeah, so we got Gajillion in the chat here going, if there's one thing G4 couldn't do right, it was tackling the subject of bullying. I'm going to add on to that. They also sucked at the circle of life. And here's the thing about American like television that I always hated, but like I understand why it happens. And it happens because people are dumb, basically.
Yeah.
Is that yeah, you're not we're running on this like public school zero tolerance type of thing where you're not allowed to retaliate and you're not allowed to
Yeah.
defend yourself and the ends don't justify the means and this that and the other thing, right? And that's
Don't
not true
do.
to life. If somebody's bullying you, you need to stand up to them and you need to create a consequence. Otherwise, they're not just going to bully you; they're going to abuse everybody else in their life. We've got to learn to check antisocial behavior so that people will actually learn empathy because you have to teach that and it is a vital life skill to get along in frickin' civilization, right? But for some reason, American schools are all against that, so they can't have that. And when I was working as a teacher, I'd have bully kids all the time, or I would have kids that were bullies is the way I should have phrased that sentence. I'd have kids that were bullies all the time, and you punish the kid, and then the parents get on your case, like, how dare you punish my little angel who's never done anything wrong? And I'm like, ma'am, your freaking child is the worst thing that ever lived, and you're not much better. Also, you're kind of ugly, and I don't like you. Get away from me. That kind of thing. So, yeah, I don't know why it's like that, but it's just not true. But if an American show put it out on the air like, hey, is this guy bullying you? Have you tried beating the frick out of him and teaching him a lesson and actually standing up for yourself? They would get all kinds of backlash for promoting violence from people like that I just described. We'd get a whole lot of that nonsense going on. And then the show would get pulled because there'd be freaking petitions and Hasbro will fold like origami to even the slightest amount of pressure because they're kind of retarded.
Totally.
Yeah, so that's why. And it's dumb. And I want to change that. And you know what else is crazy about the show is we have this episode with that lesson, but there are so many other episodes where it's not an issue. For example, the mysterious Mare-do-Well, roughly a similar situation. Any Fluttershy episode where she's dealing with an external conflict, roughly the same. Say, hey, you should stand up for yourself, Fluttershy. But for some reason, when the kids do it, when it's arguably the most important time, because that's when you're learning the skill in your developmental years, and that's when the stakes are the lowest, so there is less likely to be like long-term lasting damage to your psychology and your livelihood. We can't tackle this subject. The frick is wrong with I will never understand that about our culture. I'm getting pretty heated.
Oh, you don't want to do that. That room's already hot enough. All right. So I wouldn't say, though, that was an evil thing. Because, again, this one I would say is down to intention. And I think Babseed, at least learning the lesson after this, being like, I shouldn't be a bully because I was bullied. That just perpetuates a cycle, a terribly abusive cycle. So as long as she learned that. And, at the end of the day, I mean, I think it was pretty evil. She made freaking Apple Bloom sleep on newspapers. How the fuck did that go unnoticed? That was fucked up. But I think we went to a better place after all this. She eventually became Apple Bloom's favorite cousin.
Yeah, well, so the most evil thing about this episode isn't even really the episode. It isn't even really like anybody in the episode. It's no character's fault. It's the writers, and the writers are sort of like working with these restrictions that don't make any sense. I don't know who wrote this episode. Let me take a look at the credits here. That'd be after the intro. My Little Pony. I used to wonder why I could write such a bad song. Okay,
I don't know. They change the writers every
they do. So we
yeah,
got
let's see,
producer Sarah
producers.
Wall, Devin Cody. Where's the writer? That's the I love that
Meg
face.
McCarthy was
No,
the editor.
that's the story editor.
Yeah, she was. That's what I said.
Cindy Morrow.
Cindy Morrow.
So I want to get Cindy Morrow on this show and ask her. I want Cindy Morrow's opinion on this lesson, right? And we all know what I think about it. I've been ranting about it for the last 15 minutes. But I'm going to be as nice and as neutral as possible. I'm just going to be like, "Hey, this was the episode." I'm going to say some people disagree with the framing. What were your intentions? What do you think what do you think of it, right? And I want Cindy Morrow to explain it to me, and then we'll go into it from there. In fact, you know what? I'm just going to go hit up Twitter real quick. Where is Cindy? Bring me Cindy Morrow. I'm going to I don't even know if she's on Twitter. I wouldn't know her if I saw her. I don't know what she looks like. I'll need to figure this out.
I would think that first Cindy Morrow you see right there is she's a TV story editor, scriptwriter, musician, ex-storyboard artist, pie maker.
Pie maker?
It's right there in the name.
Alrighty then.
Some CG show. Nothing verifying it. Maybe look into this later.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we're not going to be on the same page politically, but I'm sure there's other debates to be had there as well. I don't mind that.
Oh, there's tons of people that don't agree with you politically. Let's get past that part.
Indeed. So, but usually people that disagree with me politically don't like actually having conversations. So that's
whatever.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll see. I'll see if I can pull Alden Pony going Brawny. Brawny, yes.
Brawny, get off yes. Anywho, let's see. I wanted to address one thing. Paladin Pony T says, what about the stuff with Trixie? Do you mean like with the Alicorn amulet? Because if I want to discuss that for a little bit, sure, it was evil, but we gotta wonder like how much of the evil was Trixie. And I'm not gonna deny you, it's probably a good part of it, but it probably amplified was already there. We don't know how the Alicorn amulet exactly works, but I believe Twilight learned about it and was just like, yeah, it corrupts the user's mind. I don't remember from where though. But yeah, like she clearly had malicious intentions when she went looking for this thing.
Yeah.
So pretty evil. I feel like I've seen more evil because this
look at her running into this freaking look at her running into the store. Did that zebra skull have hair on it still? How does that? How does that? It had the skull with stripes and ears. How does that work?
Actually, no. That might not be a skull. That might be like a freaking mask or something.
Or it might be a mask. Like, it might be taxidermy.
Totally gross. Anyways,
yeah. So look at her just running into the store and throwing things around. That's pretty dang evil.
Wasn't this the guy who sold us some mogways?
That certainly looks like the dude that sold, that sold the Mogwai at the beginning of Gremlins. So
I would say, this evil, at the end of the day, I feel like her motivations were more petty than evil. Like, totally, it got evil, but, she was mad. Well, you know what? It was pretty big because Twilight nearly ended her career.
I think the pettiness is what makes it evil, though.
Yeah, because, and to think about it, it's more than that, because Twilight nearly ended this Trixie's entire career. That one freaking fucking act she did, and no one took Trixie seriously as a performer or a magician ever again, because they're like, you folded at an Ursa Minor. It was a baby. You suck. And I'm just like, I'm kind of with the people that were like, if Trixie had been forthcoming that this was all just like a fucking stage thing, like a showboating thing, because she's, an entertainer, she's supposed to do that, then maybe it could have been all right. But she kind of just like was like, nah, I gotta double down.
That is what I have been saying my whole time as a brony, and nobody ever freaking listens.
Well, maybe they'll listen to me. People like me better.
Yeah, they do like you better. It's probably because
that was kind of evil. This is kind of fucked up. That's mean.
Well, that's just Spike, though.
I mean, that's
just
kind of funny. Oh,
just,
Spike abuse is fine.
Yeah, that's just what we do with Spike. Spike, did absolutely nothing to deserve the abuse, and that's what makes it funny.
Dude, I like the magic that she could just do PowerPoints. That's fucked up, though. Like, people, like, graffitied her freaking trailer. She lives in that. To make ends meet, she has to freaking mine rocks, which sucks. So I can you know what? Kind of justified. I'm not going to say some of it wasn't self-sabotage. Oh, yeah, that's kind of fucked up. What if she couldn't breathe after that?
Yeah, that would...
Okay, so you know what? It's kind of...
I don't know. Getting Pinkie Pie to shut the frick up is a rare skill.
Yeah, so I'm going to say, I get it, though. I would do it. If it was me, I would have done it. Not being able to eat a cupcake.
Oh, yeah, she freaking conjoined Snips and Snails at the horn.
That's messed up. That was pretty messed up.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty messed up, but yeah, I would probably do the same thing. If someone came in and, like, made it so, like, people bullied me at my job, and I had to get another job that I hated even more, I'd be like, you know what it'd be if someone ruined my YouTube stuff. Well, like, if I made YouTube a career and it was good for a while and someone ruined it and I had to go back to accounting, this is what I would do. This is exactly what I do.
Listen, I'm on this type of thing already because that happened to me last year. You know, I totally sympathize with Trixie these days. Doesn't make it any less evil. I'm just out.
An amulet.
I'm just out here admitting that I'm evil now. Look at that face. Is that not the most punchable face you've ever seen in your whole life? Yeah, like... All right, so we got 10 minutes. What else do we want to talk about? Let's scroll through the thing here and see what else we can
chat. I want to scroll through the chat real quick in case anyone brought... You scroll through that and I'll scroll through chat, see if there's anything good.
Alrighty then. Well, let me see. Chrysalis is pretty evil for ruining the wedding. Starlight Glimmer's pretty evil, but I think we're not, like, exactly talking about villain stuff.
Starlight Glimmer is so yesterday's news.
We did consider at Magic Duel, we did consider Trixie a villain. And even for the rest of the show, like, Trixie was a villain, even when she wasn't trying to be a villain. Like, she's trying to be a member of society, but she's just so gosh darn petty and stupid all the time and just cannot function as an independent adult without causing problems for everybody around her.
I like one comment Paladin Putty T said about the people who were upset about Misty messing up Hitch's pens, going like, sounds like some of these people are OCD.
Yeah, that's roughly what I would expect out of a Redditor. This is to have OCD. How much, here's a philosophical question for you, Heather. How much does the intention of the evil matter for it to qualify as evil?
I think it's just how we can recover from what they had done. That's why I'm saying, like, if you did genocide with the best of intentions, it's still evil. But say that you, I don't know, what's something lesser that you can recover from, kind of all right? And, like, if the person apologized, you'd probably be like, you know what, I understand why you did that. Like, oh yeah, like, basically, if you've got a situation where someone's on the wrong side of the war, like, they're on the side, like, I'm fighting for my people. Kind of like She-Ra. Like, how they started the new She-Ra is that she was training up to be a member of the Horde because she thought they were in an even conflict with a rivaling nation and that they were just attacking compounds and stuff like that. But then she saw that her side was actually, like, attacking innocent villages and people who weren't doing anything for no good reason. And so people were able to forgive her for her origins because she had good intentions and didn't realize the truth of the matter. So I'd say that's something where, like, she might have trained up and, like, carried out things that were evil, but she didn't know. Like, her intentions were good.
So there's, like, a balancing act, like a slider between like harm done and intention. Because, like, if you want to hurt somebody, or you want to do something that's going to hurt somebody just to hurt them, that's pretty evil. That's pretty sociopathic right there. But if you're just, like, playing a joke and you don't know the damage that you're doing, I don't know if that's evil.
Yeah, and I would say, like, I see a clip now of, like, freaking Sweetie Belle at her 5th birthday. Like, for a while, she kind of thought Rarity was evil because she stole all the attention, and she didn't know the full context of when she saw Rarity, like, making everyone happy at her birthday party without her, because she didn't get the full context. Rarity was trying to make her party better and make sure no one left, so her sister's party would be good.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like that's something there where it looked like she did something bad to Sweetie Belle, but it was like something actually good. I will say Paladin said, freaking where did it go? Freaking the chat kept going. Oh, he said, okay, chat, who thinks that Marble Pie getting her heart broken was the most evil thing? That wasn't evil. That was just unfortunate.
Yeah, sometimes it doesn't work out. Here's a question that I just thought of. Is Sonata Dusk evil?
People, I on the side
Because
of like
she is not
ignorance.
smart enough. She is not smart enough to know what she's doing, right? I think she's just sort of like following Adagio and following Arya, but also like living up to her own nature as a siren. I don't think she's like fully aware of herself. Whereas like Adagio and Arya definitely are self-aware.
I see one where Trent says, no one mentioned the mirror pool from Too Many Pinkie Pies yet. I don't, that wasn't evil. That was an accident.
Yeah. We've got here, we've got the Pony of Shadows. I'll put the stream back over so they can see, right? So,
Paladin says, hold on, just something to clarify. Paladin says, Heather, I was talking about the first episode Trixie was in. Why did everyone have a problem with her showing off? Everyone else was showing off. Yeah, they kind of didn't get the purpose of, like, she's a traveling magician who does a show. She's kind of supposed to be showboating. Unlike Rainbow Dash, she has an excuse. It's literally her job to, like, hype herself up and shit. So, like, yeah, I mean, that's not evil. That's just being a judgy prick. I don't think that's evil. That's just being overly judgy. And Trixie didn't do anything evil either. She was just kind of misleading and maybe a little bit malicious in the way she tried to prove that she was cool or whatever.
Mm-hmm. The how about the Pony of Shadows here, Heather? What do we think about him?
It was the dumbest misunderstanding. They wasted a really cool design on this guy.
It really did. I mean, he
Look
looks like Venom.
I like it.
That looks like the new.
That's what's good about it. That's what's awesome about it.
That looks like the new Venom trailer. You remember that one?
Oh yeah, you guys seen that shit? I wanted them to bring Pony of Shadows back just because I wanted the design more.
Like, what if that was something? Yeah, there's a missed opportunity right there. We could have had the Pony of Shadows be a thing that was just kind of with Stygian, and he had to like wrestle with it occasionally or seek therapy or something like that.
He did do therapy. He wrote a whole book about it, and they only mentioned it one time.
Yeah. That was that we never got to it, but that was the other thing that I tabbed here, right? Just in case we ran out of things to talk about. What character deserved more screen time?
We do not have time for that, because as it is, I got 5 minutes until I got to stream, baby.
Yeah, so we better wrap this up, but we'll tackle this one next week. But yeah, Stygian definitely could have used more screen time. Shoot, all of the pillars could have used more screen time.
Stygian is going to be my big thing.
We had such a good episode with frickin' Rockhoof wrestling with his suicidality. Like, for as bad as the show was about Circle of Life, like birth and death, that was a freaking good episode about dealing with suicidal ideation.
Yo.
That deserved more screen time. But we're going to wrap this up because, yeah, Heather is about to go stream. We're streaming a little bit. Well, I didn't stream earlier tonight, but she's streaming earlier tonight because we got places to be early in the morning.
Yeah, we do. Honey, do you want to is it okay if I peace out and you take care of the outro?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, go ahead. Said, have a good night, Heather. I'll bring you dinner soon.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Love you bunch. And I hope we had a great conversation for you to listen to. We have so much more to talk about, I think.
Indeed, indeed. We'll get to the other one next week. So yeah, thanks everybody who tuned in. I hope you enjoyed the show. If you would like to be on the show, we'd love to have you for as little as $1 a month on Patreon. Go check that out. And yeah, those links are in the description, as well as the links of everybody else who supports the channel, such as those on the $10 and up tier, like Heather, who is just with us. There's also Shady, Autoknight, Emerald, Senko, DJ, Rain, Billy, Alden, Kanto, Mr. Sonic, Alicia, Calbeck, StarChaser, VentureCorp, Willyzin, Icanus, Vulpecula, Raptor's Talon, Jimmy, J Yoshi, and Dark Malcontent. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your weekend. Stay